Nope, that's not it. Okay, whatever. File settings. Audio. Mic accelerator. Microphone. Desktop audio. I should probably put my headset on. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. Test it out with this. Perfect. Alright. Control V. Okay. Marcus red, Marcus red. Nice. Yeah, okay. Alright. So my mic's getting picked up. That's nice. That's nice. Perfect. Maybe I need to move mic a little closer. Good. Now I boot up Planet Zoo. Gonna add as a source right after. Perfect. Okay, now I just need to add as a source game capture. Yeah, let's just do this. Perfect. So that's working just fine, but for some reason it's not picking up audio. This is the kind of thing you need to tweak. If I do this. Oh, there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yes, I know about managing directors and shits. Can you hear me in the stream? If so, game pretty loud. Alright. Just gotta lower that a bit. Alright, that seems to be the max. Is the game still too loud? Alright, I could be a bit louder. Let's see if I can change that. Settings, audio. Wait, no, it wouldn't be in OBS. Sound settings. Oh. Is this better? Should be able to catch me a bit louder now. Though, now that I think about it, I don't really have the sound gate. Gonna have to find that later on. Alright, perfect. So, what I just found out is that in my actual Windows settings, the volume for the input, which is my microphone, obviously, was at 90 instead of 100. So that fixes that. Wait, did I buy the game while it was in early access? Dang. Okay. So now that I got that, how do I do it so I can get the thingamajig? YouTube chat onto the... Yeah, no, this current display does not support HDR. Graphics. Nice to know that I can basically run the game on the highest settings. So I'm on borderless. But if I do windowed. I'm using OBS. I'm not sure if Streamlabs actually work. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to go into borderless. Yeah. Otherwise it tweaks the recording thing. Guess I'll just have to open the stream on my phone. I should. Why do I have a timer active? If I bring YouTube. There we go. I should probably add Dino as a moderator as well. Psycho. Community moderation. There we go. Save. Oh, I can... Yeah, I have the chat open. It's just that when I go to the game, it hides it. I'd have to go into windowed mode for it to show up properly. I guess if I'd have multiple monitors, I could just drag it to a second monitor, but I don't. For now, I'll just have my phone sitting right next to the screen. I'm gonna need something to hold this slightly further up. And I'm going to have to mute my phone. There we go. Behind that. Perfect. I should be able to read it properly now. Now let's see, what's the delay? About 5 to 15 seconds. Alright. First steps, what? Neat. It's been a while since I played this. I think I should redo the tutorial. It's been too long. Start Goodwin House, renovated and renamed after its purchase by Bernard Goodwin in the 1980s. Goodwin House has since become one of the most respected zoos in the country. More recently, it has undergone a further renovation to update many of the habitats and facilities, but due to various issues, the work hasn't quite been completed, which is where you come in. Oh, good to know. Yeah, unfortunately, if I switch to windowed, it's gonna mess up how the stream looks, and it's gonna have black stripes and stuff. And I don't have anything to put on there for now, so that's a bit weird. And I mean, I can read the chat perfectly fine right now. I just have it right next to my TV. Oh, TV monitor.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s.
Should probably move the mouse away during
we're in the middle
cutscenes.
of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil squeezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Just making sure you guys can't hear it when I'm eating.
Face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
KWASD, EQ for up and down. Is to rotate? Nope. Choose to hide. Good to know. Guessing. Yeah. Mouse wheel button for that. Why did my... No idea what these do. View maps. Settings, camera. Well, let's see if that does anything. No. Yeah, well.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
I know I would.
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Okay. So you can hear me more than you can hear me eating. That's where the small gate in front of my mic comes in. Unfortunately, I have it stored away and I don't remember where I put it. So I'm going to have to search for that in a bit.
This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal. The most important thing being its overall welfare.
I could just move the mic away a
You'll
bit.
learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives.
Is this
But
still
for
fine?
now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel?
This still fine? Can you guys hear me properly?
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Okay, so if I move my mic away,
Okay,
it's
when
going to
you're
be too
ready,
quiet.
let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
What if I do something like... No, that's a terrible idea. What if I move it this way? Like this. This fine with you? Not too loud? That's not the thing I'm looking for. Crap. There we go.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Adjusting mic angle so it better fits. There we go.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
There it is.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
I already did it.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action. Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each
Shouldn't we have
animal
done
in the
that
zoo
before we
has
brought
an
them in?
overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station, and for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Let's add a noise suppressor. There we go. That fixes just about everything with the mic. Do you still hear my heavy breathing? Feeding tray, let's put it over here. And water station, let's place it right there.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
That'd be too close, so let's put it over here so it doesn't splash people.
Nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a thorough state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop.
Alright, perfect.
But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
That means I won't have to get the physical noise gate. Just having the noise reduction filter will work. Ah, there it is.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
Probably
That's
we
more
could do
like
that in
it.
real life.
A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it. Right, let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
There we go. Man, trying to eyeball this is actually really freaking difficult. Oh, I wasn't even supposed to eyeball it. Ugh. Oh well.
Good work. Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment.
Yeah, I
At
was
least not
wondering.
without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see in. There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat.
Just one?
It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places like near
Yeah.
a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
How do I rotate it? Oh, it's an omnidirectional. Okay.
Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh? By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
You say it's high time to adopt the ostriches. We only have a singular fucking window that doesn't even lead to the path. They can barely see the enclosure because I was thinking, oh, it's going to let me change this entire wall into glass. No. Oh my god. Center Zoo. Center Zoo. Wouldn't it make more sense to say center enclosure?
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a
Yeah, no shit, we should have
suitable
done that
feeding
before.
station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Oh yeah, I know that much, but still. No, seriously, how do I rotate these? I'm gonna have to check the controls. Z plus left or right? Far less bad than I thought.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we?
Hold up.
To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Well, that was inconvenient. Hmm. Alright, back to things. Keeper hut.
You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to
Oh,
get it
right,
to
I forgot to
connect
put my
up to the
headset
path.
back on. No wonder I can't hear anything. There we go. Now, where? Oh, there. You want it to face this way and place it here. I like how the paths automatically connect. That's nice.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we? Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
What do you mean, invalid rotation? It needs to connect to the path.
Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Okay, there's the
your
plot
next
line.
job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Oh, that's interesting. There's resistance, great. Interesting, interesting. Can I make it shorter? No, that's height. Not what I'm trying to change. What? Yeah, whatever. You know, I should probably pause. I can let the animals loose. I don't think... No, actually, I think you can. This game is very much just Zoo Tycoon, but improved upon. You know, especially with the last Zoo Tycoon game being Zoo Tycoon 2. Yep, there never was another Zoo Tycoon after that. No siree. There we go. Now we add an opening over here.
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, You should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Oh, there we go. So this...
Now you've got all of the perimeter
Perfect.
selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
Come on.
Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas.
That's in
We need
facilities,
every
right?
dollar we can
Yes.
get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch. Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
No, we should furnish the Could 100... You know that question's already been answered, right? It's been answered like 20 times now.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Add feeding station, add lake, add food enrichment, add toy, park shelter, terrain, plant welfare.
This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different. Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool. Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
That enrichments, there we go. Wait, frozen blood pumpkin? What? Interesting. And rubbing pad, let's... Oh, it stands on its own. Okay. Rotate that like that.
Okay,
Put it
it's
there.
really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely the bad weather. Although given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
Now, I remember this game has a very massive building mechanic. That I'm probably not going to go into on this stream. Let's offer a bit of privacy and make it open to side like this. So the visitors can't just spot them from anywhere. Here's the other objective. Alright, they're not inside the pen yet.
poor dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select
no
a tiger
dip.
and bring up its information panel. Rightio, click on the terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different
Not
types
enough grass
of terrain.
short, not enough
That'll
grass
tell you what the
long,
tigers
not
need
enough
more or
soil.
less of in this habitat. Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
No, too much. So you want soil? Any kind?
Right then, all animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, Eurasia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes that are native to Asia. Although if you have to, you can get away with using just one or the other. The tigers will also want a certain amount of their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the
Psycho like
Environment
this.
tab. Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
And I can add this over here. Let's add another one here. Let's add some more bushes. Do this like so. Put this over here. Perfect. Plant welfare to 90%. Oh. Nice. Next, I add this over here. Scott spine. There we go. Darn. How about this one? No. Coconut? There we go.
They say the good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
I put the entrance on the wrong
Right,
direction.
Let's head over to the Indian peafowls.
Okay,
I've been
too
told
bad.
we need to improve their social welfare.
Improve.
Now then, just
That's an
find one of the
interesting
peafowls
closure.
and select them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese.
Social
Expand
social
their
group.
social welfare, and we can get a bit more detail. Now, they've clearly got plenty of space, and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong. Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
Yeah, I already have it open. Oh, you're telling me I need to reopen it? Oh my god, that is dumb. Okay, whatever. Let's adopt, send to zoo, deliver there. Adopt, send to zoo, deliver there. Adopt, send to zoo, deliver
Good work on
here.
those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
Alright. Over here. Let's rotate.
Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like
Yeah,
when you
like
see
the
someone
lack
putting
of
the milk
snow.
before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option,
Yes, I
but I
thought.
think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests.
Intensity. Let's increase the size. Oh, of course the game doesn't allow me to do that. No. Why should I care about the lack of snow in a snow leopard enclosure? That wouldn't make sense. Anyways.
Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather. You should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start
How
by
about
opening
adding
up
some
the temperature
snow?
heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat. As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has
insane.
power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future.
You're keeping
Just
it
so you
around
know, if any part of
45
a habitat is
degrees?
powered, then the whole habitat
That's
will
a
be powered.
freaking snow leopard. Oh my god. Poor snow leopard. Have some coolers. You
can
definitely
find heat
need it.
maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers.
Hey, being tired is
Now we've got the
perfectly
coolers in,
a-okay.
we can address the
Just
leopards
think
to
of
real
how I
welfare.
felt. I just got
You see,
a
what the leopards really want in here is
Hold on, I'm
snow
gonna
and
wait for them
rock,
to finish.
So let's make that happen.
Alright. I had gotten a call from my boss saying that the cleaners didn't come in. So I am going to have to go in to go and clean on my day off. Well, I was asked, but it's just like, yeah, okay, I'll get paid for it.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the
Jesus
whole zoo.
Christ.
And that
What?
average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Let's turn this off. Maybe a... No. Hmm. Would a turtle use a burrow? No, that's a giant tortoise. That is way too big. Is there really no other option? God, I'm trying to get something that will help it.
As you can see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
Can I? No. No. Anyways, so, earlier when I had the inconvenient call, that was my boss telling me that the cleaners didn't come in, so he was asking me if I could come in. Actually, couldn't I? Actually, no, let's keep that one a steel mesh and make that one wood logs. Perfect. Not what I was trying to do. So that should help its stress. What about its habitat? Temperature is too cold. So for that, we're going to want to bring a heater. There we go. Next is Justin trying to hide. Yeah, no, that'll happen on its own. Temperature, they'll fix up. Well, it would probably help if it wasn't in the water. Actually, can I put the heater into water? I can. Nice. Alright. So that's that. Hard shelter. Okay, so it does need an actual shelter as well. There we go. So I have two right next to each other. Alright, fine. Let's have one big one. There we go. And it covers that. And then there's enrichments. No food or other enrichments. Jack turtles. Yep. That's food enrichment. Toy enrichment. What about a large ball? Does that work for it? Jet eater. Komodo dragon. No. No, it does not. Grab ball? Wait, why am I just searching? I could just do filter. This is giant turtles. Boom. Alright, that's one. Let's go to the zebras. That is not what I wanted to do. Zoo. Welfare. There we go. Of course it is. Of course it is. Ring. You're kidding me, right? How could you mess it up that bad? Hmm. Hmm. There we go. Now everything's in the green for that. Plants. Yeah, there's a lot of plants that don't fit. No, aloe vera don't work here. What about banana? Nope. Poplar? Poplar works. Blackthorn? Alright, so that coverage seems fine. Now it's time for enrichments. So it said food and toy. Let's fix this. Species zebra. I've been near the bottom. Nope, not on that. So that means it goes by different name. Plains. Okay. Plains. And we have it. Perfect and... God damn it. Needs more food enrichment.
Not bad. Not bad
And
at
there we
all.
go.
I think it's fair to say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but you'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Now let's return to the menu and... No need to save that. That's a tutorial, so... Screening plants. Interesting. Now... Right. Sandbox. Tropical. Okay. So let's test this out. Trade Center. Trade Center. And I can get animal trading. Gorilla. Gorilla. Oh, that's hilarious. Anyways, let's check something. Africa, so it's not Asia. Damn it. Oh well. Okay, yeah, so you can't do that. Sorry. Anyways, I should end this test stream right now, since apparently it's no longer working on my phone. So, thanks for watching this. If you're watching this as a VOD, this has been Illuminating, and I'm very glad to see that everything is working at least somewhat as intended without any major hiccups. And I'll see you tomorrow, if you've been watching this, for the abiotic. Yeah, YouTube's not responding.